background evolves, still intending. After 6 months now, probably if my math is right, how has the platform fit into the overall aesthetics portfolio? Are you seeing any incremental synergies which have come out of this, since you launched it, or any further synergies that we could anticipate looking forward?
Yeah, I think on the first blush, when we brought the Hint ND platform together, we had the vision of sort of transforming a little bit of the go-to-market, and we've always decided we were going to be a disruptive force in the medical aesthetics community. And what we're trying to do is understand some of the key market dynamics that you have in the medical aesthetics business, and how do we wrap our products around with a great service. And one of the learnings here that all of our competitors do is they not only offer great products, but they offer value add services to the practice. And most practices are sort of entrepreneurial, and they're not large chain of facilities. And so if we're able to provide data feeds, make things easier, and help them run a better business, we'll be better positioned and better able to serve those customers of ours. And so that was the guiding light. Secondly, a lot of our competitors have their own consumer programs. For instance, Brilliant Distinctions at, or now called Ali at AbbVie/Allergan. Galderma has a program called the Aspire program. And these serve two things. One, they increase loyalty to a particular brand, but more importantly, they help lower acquisition costs and sort of serve the need of practices that way. Some of the problems with that they're seen in the marketplace, though, while they're great from that, they have more clerical complexity at the checkout line. So you not only check out here, you also have to log into a separate platform to adjudicate points and things like that. Secondly, those points are not sticky from practice to practice. They go and float with the consumer's wallet, if you will. And so what we're trying to do is offer a service that down the road with a white label loyalty program that will sort of engender loyalty at the practice. And like I said, the mantra of Revance is to go deep into those practices and provide value from a data and how they're running their business and how they could further optimize it. Provide increasing sticky points with the consumers for a white label services, and offer that in a go-to-market approach that's not just a cost center, but down the road can be a profit center and drive top-line growth for Revance. And we feel that that's a win-win proposition. The metric that we've put out there and that we're starting to sort of report on is those processing volumes in terms of dollars. And those processing volumes in terms of dollars, when we sized up the opportunity, thought there was north of $50 billion of credit card processing that's happening in derms, plastics, and med spas. And when you monetize that from the economic skim you could get from being a patient processor or a payment processor, a PayFac, 50 to 100 basis points, which puts a total addressable market in that $500 million, which is a nice thing to have over time to complement sort of the growing revenue streams from our product line.
Sure, I hear you on the topic. And as I think about this opportunity, right, and you exited 2020 with $200 million processing volumes, and this will be the first full year, right? Can you help us understand what is the kind of processing volumes that we could look at this year, and maybe try to build a long-term trajectory to when you can reach that full potential for this space?
Yeah, so the next leg of the stool is we continue to leverage commercially the synergistic impact with our field force. So the field force right now, the 100 reps that we have in place, are actively promoting the RHA line of fillers. And then they're doing the lead generation activity for starting a practice to put them on sort of the next generation, our Hint MD platform, payment platform. So what we're seeing from a synergistic perspective is growing that processing volume. And we haven't put out markers for what to expect, so I don't want to get over my skis. But a couple of guide points that, sort of when we've talked about it in a variety of scenarios. First of all, on our November earnings call, we had talked about getting to a cumulative for 2021, $100 million of processing volume. And then by the year end of 2020, we've talked about an annualized run rate of over $200 million. So we're seeing strong growth there, driven by sort of increased placements and sort of increased utilization. We help to increase the revenue part of that when we flip over to a full PayFac model, which is slated for the summer to introduce that feature. And we're going through the beta testing right now. And so that's a summertime feature turn on. And then continue to augment that from a revenue perspective of having a subscription and patient wallet set up there. So those will be the augmentation to the revenue model that we have there.
Great. Thank you. We'll look forward to that launch when it comes to mid-21. And maybe a couple of small questions minor questions on the therapeutic side. We saw the top line data on Juniper, pulling spasticity, good results with the 500 unit strength. And the next steps now in terms of phase 3 initiation, and when could we expect to see some initial top line results, and what is the launch horizon looking like in terms of a potential approval into this space, 2 years, 2.5 years? How should we think about this?
Yeah, great question. So, taking a big step back on sort of, we've spent a lot of time on our conversation today about our aesthetics portfolio, the daxibotulinum, the RHA, and the HintMD. And so I think we've captured that pretty well on the pushes and pulls there. And I think it's great to kind of transition to the future, which is our therapeutics portfolio. And so thinking about that, we've sort of mapped out sort of where the dollars and cents are from an overall market perspective is on a therapeutics portfolio. And recent decision resources talk about the